Hello, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. My name is Audrey Asheli Odwor. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the support. And if you're a new person on this account, kindly remember to hit that subscribe button below. Now, today, I'm here to talk about my international teaching journey. I've received a few questions from a couple of you, a couple of educators who really want to transition from teaching the 844 curriculum into teaching the international curriculum, or those ones who are teaching in Kenya who would really love to move abroad. So today I'll be sharing my journey with you so that you actually have an overview of how I started. And if I was able to do it, I believe every other person who has the capability and the determination and the zeal can be able to actually do the same or follow the same procedure and be able to be successful. So I graduated in 2014 from Mount Kenya University. Mount Kenya University in Thika. I did a BEd in Arts, English Language and Literature. I graduated on 11th of December 2014. I have to remember this date, yeah? A very memorable day for me. Now, in 2015, if you can clearly remember, for those ones who are already done with high school or done with campus, there were a couple of strikes back then. And there was issues to do with remuneration and issues to do with not only teachers but also nurses. So out of these, I started my journey from Kilimani Marketplace. It's really interesting, right? Because at that particular time, there was a heated debate on why teachers are always underpaid or why teachers are always on strike. So there's this gentleman, and by the way, before I even start this, please, I have to remind you, these people, let me give them their flowers because they have been very, very, very essential in my international teaching journey. I am always indebted to them, always 100%. I can never forget to mention these people, okay? So this debate, back to the story, this debate goes on, and this gentleman by the name Eric, he ends up, he comments that as teachers, we should stop focusing so much on working with the government, that is TSC, but try to apply to private schools and international schools in Kenya, whereby their remuneration or the salary is far much better compared to the other. So out of curiosity, I'm like, let me just ask this guy, what are the requirements, what are the qualifications that are needed for someone to teach in an international school? So he ends up saying, you actually need a BEd, like a Bachelor's of Education, either in arts or science or whichever subject you're teaching, and be able to have 2 teaching subjects and do any co-curricular activities. So here I am, I'm like, oh yeah, I have 2 teaching subjects. I have English language and then I have English literature, and I can be able to teach film or teach drama. So I was like, at least I fit in. So again, I sent him a message and I'm like, by the way, is it okay if you send me your email address? I could share my resume, and then in case there are vacancies in your institution, maybe you could share with me. And he says, yeah, fine. So he sends me his email address. His name is Eric Mkira. Eric, thank you for this, because out of this, I ended up where I am today. So he sends me his email address. I forward my CV and I forget about everything. Yeah? Normal, typical Kenyan. That was 2015, I think, around April, if I'm not wrong. So 2015, I fell sick around June, July, and part of August. I had a major surgery. And then I was not able to actually continue with work because I was busy into production. I was doing film production at that particular time. I wasn't teaching after my volunteer service at Shitoto Girls. So I forget about Eric. And then in September, teachers are now on strike and we get employed by the Teacher Service Commission to teach as relief teachers. And at that particular time, I was posted to Alupe. Alupe is in Busia County, about 15 to 20 minutes ride from Busia town. So what happens in 2015, my contract was only for 3 months. That is because it was just a relief teaching job. And I knew by the end of November and the first week of December, I'll be jobless. So I had to actually find a way out of this. So what do? I reach out to Eric and I'm like, "Hi, Eric, do you remember me? I'm Audrey. Sometimes back, I inquired about teaching in an international school, and I would really, really love to apply if in case there's a vacancy." And miraculously, I always say that was a miracle, like it was just a coincidence as well. There was a teacher who was going on maternity leave. Actually, I was chatting up with her the other day and I was like, "Hey, Doreen, thank you for getting pregnant at the right time." So, Doreen was going on a maternity leave and there was a vacancy for an English language and literature teacher to cover up for the 3 months that I was supposed to be there. So, Eric says, "Yeah, there's a teacher who's going on maternity leave. Would you want to apply?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, it's just a 3 months job, but it's better than having nothing." So he sends me the email address of the head of department by then, Vincent Manura. Thank you again, Vincent. And I sent my resume. I had no idea. By then, Aga Khan was doing Cambridge, IGCSE, and they were integrating from IGCSE to MYP, and then they were already doing the diploma program. So I had no idea what Cambridge IGCSE was, or what IB MYP was, or what IB diploma was. I was zero, green. I had literally no idea. So I sent my resume to Vincent, and then I followed up with a call. And Vincent tells me, what you can do is, if you'll be able to travel to Nairobi. By then I was in Busia. This is almost November, beginning of December. I was in Busia. So I'm like, yeah, I could be able to probably send my CV and be able to bring my documents to the school in December once we've closed school. By then, at that particular time in Aga Khan, they were still in session, while in the 844 system, we were done with teaching. So I boarded a bus from Busia to Nairobi, and I got to Aga Khan Academy, where culture shock. Jesus Christ. I still remember this today, and I'm always laughing. I'm like, what really happened? You know, you get into a place where umeshuka matatu, you're just from a matatu, yeah? And you see the type of cars that are driving in, and you're like, have we been living in the same country? Like, where have I been all this time, you know? So, I get into the school, you know, the uniform, the buildings, the type of kids that are there, you know, kids from different races. I'd only been teaching Africans. I would say I'd only been teaching Kenyans, so I had never experienced teaching expatriates, you know, or teaching kids from different races. So here I am at the entrance of the school, like at the security gate, and I meet the security guards and my head of upper and senior school, Miss Geraldine Hainstock. And I had no idea that she was the head of school. So here I am, I introduce myself, and I'm given the badge to wear. I put on the visitor's badge, I wish them a beautiful day, and I leave. I didn't know that this thing actually impressed the head of school. She liked the fact that I was just humble enough to wear my visitor's tag and to, you know, talk to these security people just like any other person. So they showed me where Vincent's office was. I end up in Vincent's office, and this guy does not tell me that I'm going for a departmental interview. Vinny. Anyway, so I meet Vincent and he interviews me in terms of the books that I had been teaching. Being a lover of literature, by then they were doing books that I'd actually taught either in 844 or I had studied them in campus. So yeah, that was the catch. So Vincent was impressed and he told me, okay, I'll have to submit your resume and your application letter to the school, and then we'll call you for a class demo. After the class demo, you'll have to come and do a panel interview. Wadau, let me tell you, I researched. Have you ever sat down as if you're doing an interview, like as if you're preparing for an exam? I literally researched on what Cambridge IGCSE was and what IB was, MYP, DP, all the approaches to teaching and learning. I had zero idea, but I literally had to have an overview of what all this is about, because if I wouldn't, believe it or not, probably I would not have gotten that interview. So, what happened is they invited me for a class demo, and I was given year 7s. Year 7s are 11 and 12-year-olds who have an energy from here, like I'm in Russia, to Kenya. those kids are super energetic and hyper. Remember, they're just coming from primary, that is year 6. Then they're now transitioning into high school, upper school, that is year 7. So that change. Wait, those kids. I still remember those kids are just, on another level. So I ended up teaching a poetry lesson with my head of department in class, that is Mr. Vincent Manyura, and the IB coordinator. I think he was called Mr. Mugalizi, if I'm not wrong. And these kids, their English, their accents, the way they approach things, the way they talk, their confidence, I was wowed. But I loved them. I honestly loved dealing with them. I taught poetry. I remember the way they were so energetic, and I was also full of energy. And well, I did my class demo, got done with it, and then I went for the panel interview, I think with MYP coordinator, DP coordinator, and somebody, I can't remember, plus Vinny. So I had like 5 people, panel interview, and myself. And here I was, zero idea on what IB was. But guys, believe it or not, I ended up with a job. So out of the other, I think we were about 5 people who applied for the same job, I ended up getting the job. I honestly thank my stars. I thank my God. I thank my zeal and enthusiasm to actually, and my daredevil attitude, That daring attitude can always take you to places. So that was my first time getting into an international school back in Kenya. And today, these flowers are for Vincent and Eric. Eric, I actually met Eric, I think 2 weeks after starting my job at Aga Khan. After 2 weeks is when I got to meet him. He ended up also being my head of department because there were some lessons he used to give me for drama that I would teach. So Eric, thank you so much for giving me that opportunity, and also connecting me to Vincent. And Vincent, thank you so much for the support. You are one of my best head of departments. I can't fail to give you your flowers. And it will be so unfair not to mention my department mates. There is Ross, Ruth, Christine, Sheila, Doreen. Hey, thank you so much. Guys, you were so supportive, I mean, it was very easy to work with you people. It was very easy for me to transition from teaching the 844 syllabus into teaching the international curriculum. And I really, really appreciate. I would never fail to say thank you. And in my next video, I'll be talking about how I transitioned from now teaching in Kenya into my first job abroad, that is in Bahrain. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.